Woohoo! This is an explosive wine. Hey guys, today we're reviewing a very iconic wine from a very iconic winemaker. We're reviewing Bad Boy. But less about the wine, we're also going to be indulging in a little bit of story time today. We're going to talk about the Bad Boy himself, the winemaker, the man behind all of the garage wines and who's regarded as the godfather of the garage wines. We're going to talk about Jean-Luc Thunevin today and his love for Bad Boy. Jean-Luc Thunevin isn't your classic winemaker. He didn't inherit vineyards and vineyards from his family or an ancestral chateau. He wasn't born in the illustrious Bordeaux vineyards. He's actually very far from it. He was actually born in Algeria and learned part of his life, he learned how to become a woodcutter. And yet, he found his niche in crafting wines of superior quality and making one of the best wines coming from where? Just his garage. And that is where the term garage wines actually started from. Now they're known to describe wines which are exquisite and rare and come from smaller parcels, but we'll get into garage wines a little bit later. He was born on Friday the 13th, which may well be an auspicious date for someone so intent on trying their luck. Working against the grain, Jean-Luc Thunevin and his wife Muriel decided to start their first wine and in 1991 came up with their first Chateau Valandrode, which was made in a garage. Which is very different because that's not how traditional winemakers made wine. Winemaking came from terroir, the magic of the terroir, which is basically the environment, the aspect. But here, it was such a shock to everybody when these wines started winning awards. Now, Muriel was responsible for looking after the vines. She was responsible for the pruning methods, the taking care of the leaves, the harvest, all of that was on Muriel, whereas Jean-Luc did the winemaking processes. Now you may wonder what's so bad boy about it, but remember this, in Bordeaux, wines come from large hectares of land where people have been making wine for years and years. That's where the culture and tradition comes from. Here there was a man who in 1991 started making wine from a little plot of land, I think 0.6 hectares if I'm not wrong, started making one of the most fantastic, low yielding, high concentration, 100% new oak kind of wines, which was unheard of in Bordeaux. He was making conventional methods of winemaking and people were going crazy because he had started winning awards by 1995. In 1995, his Chateau Valandrode got 95 points by Robert Parker, and that is when he named him the Bad Boy and the Black Sheep of Bordeaux. After this boom in 1995 and when critics started, taking real interest in him and when people really started enjoying his wine, he really blew up. People started to realize that human hands and scientific knowledge played as important a role than the magic of the terroir. As someone who's constantly been breaking rules and constantly been innovating and making a profitable venture out of it, he decided to start marketing his wines by the name that he was called, by the name that he was regarded as, and he started a wine called the Bad Boy, which is just such a catchy name, isn't it? Whenever I see a label at this or at a retail store, it always catches my attention because look at this label. So he's got the Black Sheep here, which is basically what he was also regarded as, the Black Sheep and the Bad Boy. And right here, there's an arrow pointing to the garage, which takes you back. So it's a label which denotes the story. And I love stories. Now you may notice this is one of the first videos where the wine has already been decanted. Now this is a powerful wine. It's very structured, very elegant, yet a very powerful wine. And that is why when it comes to wines from Bordeaux or when it comes to wines like these, it's important to decant it. These wines are different in substance as well as style. So when the winemaker tells you to start decanting an hour before you want to drink the wine, it's possibly advisable that you listen to what he says. So they produce about 80,000 bottles of this wine. It's a 95% Merlot and a 5% Cabernet Sauvignon. So I'm very excited to taste this wine. I believe it's done about 14 months of oak aging in barrels, and it's grown on these clay and this gravelly soil. So it'll be a very interesting kind of wine to taste. Very excited to be tasting this wine. We should review it as Good Boy reviews Bad Boy, because I'm a good boy. This is an explosive wine. This amazing intensity of colors, it's wow. These very nice, these black currants, it's got this espresso roast kind of flavors. It's got this very like licorice kind of flavor, these black cherries, black currants. I'm a little lost for words because of how much I'm enjoying this wine. It's got this very like granite kind of taste to it. It's got this white chocolate violet coating to it. It's just, it's fresh, it's fruity, it's punchy, it's plummy. The plum obviously comes from how Merlot is. It's just got this plum kind of aromas to it. It's floral, yet it's very fruity in a very strange way, and it's got a very granular kind of texture as well. You know, like those small particles that you have in your mouth, yet it makes it a very fun wine, I'm gonna tell you. It's got this very good body. I wouldn't say it's full bodied, I'd say it's a medium plus body. It's got firm tannins, like it's a well-rounded, good structure, explosive kind of intensity of aromas. It's a very well structured, got layers of components of complexity. It's just a beautiful, beautiful wine. So I tasted the 2015 vintage of the Bad Boy and I absolutely loved it. It was the first time I was drinking the 2016 vintage, and I'm gonna tell you, this one is darker, it's plummier, it's juicier, it's got this beautiful purity to it, which just makes this such an interesting and such an amazing wine. High acid, smooth texture, incredible long-lasting finish. Can obviously age in the bottle for a few more years, and then you can it should be ready to drink by the next year as well. It'll taste much better. It's also budget friendly, which is a great thing. Is fantastic wines like that, when affordable, is just a dream come true for me. It's around $30 US, about 4,000 rupees in India, and it's a steal. Trust me, you need wines like these. It's a wine that's just it's so much more than a wine. It's a story, and I keep saying this, stories are what sell, you know. And whenever there's just so much information, so much history, culture, tradition, and so many experiences that the winemaker had to go through to get this wine to you, all these barriers that he's broken, and you know, all the conventional and modern winemaking techniques that he's done and he's made just to deliver top quality product to you, it's worth it. Cheers guys, have a good time, but just remember, drinking Bad Boy doesn't make you a bad boy, okay? You should be a good boy, like me. Cheers.